March 6, 1944. 23,000 feet above Germany, a lone B-17 flying fortress named Hell's Fury drifted behind its formation. No escorts, no overlapping defensive fire, just 10 men alone in hostile skies. In the tail sat Staff Sergeant Michael "Mad Mike" Donovan. In the next 4 minutes, he would destroy 12 German fighters and change air combat forever. This is the story of the tail gunner who refused to wait to die and instead decided to hunt first. Michael Donovan grew up in South Boston, where survival meant hitting first. His father worked the docks. His brother fought Golden Gloves. By 17, Donovan had been in more than 30 street fights and learned one rule: if you wait, you lose. When Pearl Harbor was attacked, he enlisted in the Army Air Forces. They wanted him for ground crew. Donovan demanded gunnery school. His instructor said he was too aggressive, too reckless, too willing to expose himself to enemy fire. Donovan's answer became legend: dead gunners don't shoot back. Live ones do. He wasn't the most accurate, but he was the fastest. While other gunners waited for German fighters to enter their firing zones, Donovan believed in the opposite approach. Don't react, act first. In early 1944, he was assigned to the 390th Bomb Group in the B-17, Hell's Fury. The previous tail gunner had asked for transfer after multiple close calls. When the pilot, Captain James Whitmore, warned Donovan that tail gunners had the highest casualty rate in the bomber, nearly 40%, Donovan said, "Then I've got 62% odds of living. I'll take them." From his very first mission, Donovan broke the rules. Instead of waiting for attackers to begin their runs, he shot at German fighters while they were still forming up. He targeted wingmen instead of leaders and used ammunition aggressively to disrupt enemy formations before they became lethal. To Donovan, survival wasn't just about marksmanship. It was about psychology. On March 6, 1944, Hell's Fury joined one of the largest bombing missions of the war. The target was the aircraft factory at Augsburg. Intel predicted thousands of German fighters. During the briefing, Donovan asked permission to use aggressive fire, engaging fighters before they committed to an attack. A pilot reluctantly agreed. As Hell's Fury crossed into German airspace, 12 Bf-109s appeared at 6 o'clock high in perfect formation. Every manual said the same thing: wait. Donovan opened fire immediately at 2,000 yards, long before any gunner was supposed to shoot. His tracers missed, but they shattered the German formation. The attack broke before it even started. When the fighters regrouped, Donovan fired again, using controlled bursts to intimidate them, then unleashing precision fire at close range. Multiple fighters fell. Others fled. The most vulnerable position on the bomber had just forced a German unit to retreat. But the fight wasn't over. Hell's Fury drifted from the main bomber formation, leaving it alone in enemy skies. No escorts. No mutual support. Radar then revealed a massive threat approaching. 48 German fighters organizing for a coordinated, multi-angle assault. The pilot braced for the worst. Donovan had one last idea. "Let me hit them before they're ready," he said. "If we wait, we die." With what ammunition he had left, Donovan fired directly into the center of the forming German attack, not aiming for one plane, but aiming for the space where coordination held the whole strike together. The results were immediate. 2 fighters collided while evading. Another caught fire. The rest scattered in confusion. Their perfectly timed assault dissolved into chaos. The survivors attempted a final ferocious charge on the tail. Donovan used his last 180 rounds with cold precision, targeting the psychological center of the attacking group. More fighters fell. The rest broke away. Then Donovan squeezed the trigger once more. Nothing. The guns were empty. The Germans, recognizing the silence, moved in for an easy kill. But Donovan used the only weapon left: fear. He tracked the incoming fighters with his empty guns, perfectly aligned and perfectly steady. The lead German, seeing the barrels locked on his cockpit, panicked. He broke formation, and the rest followed. They fled not from bullets, but from Donovan's reputation. Hell's Fury dropped its bombs, turned for home, and somehow made it back to England. On the ground, the numbers spoke for themselves: 2,000 rounds fired, 12 confirmed kills, multiple probables, 0 American casualties. One tail gunner had repelled more than 60 enemy fighters. News spread immediately across the 8th Air Force. General Frederick Anderson arrived the next morning to interview Donovan. What Donovan described became known as the Donovan Doctrine: 5 simple but revolutionary principles. Fire first, disrupt psychologically, focus fire on the most dangerous vector, use ammunition aggressively to prevent attacks rather than reacting to them, and accept personal risk for the survival of the crew. Donovan was pulled from combat and assigned to training command. Over the next 5 months, he trained roughly 300 tail gunners. His graduates accounted for nearly half of all tail gunner kills in the European theater for the rest of the war. Tail gunner casualties dropped from 38% to 23%. German attack success rates fell dramatically. Luftwaffe manuals even instructed pilots to avoid American formations known for aggressive defensive fire. After the war, Donovan returned to Boston, worked construction, raised a family, rarely spoke about the mission that changed everything. When he died in 1998, his obituary mentioned his wartime service in a single paragraph. No mention of the 12 fighters he brought down in minutes. No mention of the doctrine that saved thousands of airmen. No mention of the lasting influence on modern aerial combat. But the gunners he trained never forgot. One of them put it simply years later: "Before Mike, we thought survival meant hiding. He taught us survival means making the enemy scared to attack you. 4 minutes over Germany. 1 tail done. 12 destroyed fighters. Thousands of lives saved. A doctrine that reshaped air combat for generations. Not because Michael Donovan was fearless, but because he refused to wait for death to find him. He went hunting first." If this story moved you, please like the video, subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support helps keep these remarkable histories alive.